How was your yesterday? I hope you had a great time, whether at work, doing some personal errands, and on the platform I'm with Julde Njai. Julde, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Ibrahim. I am fine, Alhamdulillah. Good morning to you, to our viewers, and to Mr. Mboji.
Nice, nice, nice. And we have Mr. Momodu Mboj. Mr. Mboj, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you feeling?
Alhamdulillah.
Why yaa ngi jël jacket nga jël haftaan nga sol ko xanaa lii tey moom da nga génn si poli.
No, the other day I did it as well.
Is this a fashion?
Well, yeah, anything can be really. It just depends on what people say that it is. Well, the right influencers, isn't it? It becomes fashion. No, I did it the other day. Bala mu ne ma Mr. Mbojo lena rek a des. Mooy banta bi. Soo ko ajee rek danga fit in perfectly ak poli the cattle herders.
Yeah.
Angle yooyu la gaa dee def sol seen frock African ba pare sol seen western jacket on top of it. Ma ne ko yes. So this is like cattle herder chic, man. It is fashion.
But what's the rationale behind that?
Why not? It's just your thinking. Little sort of incongruous. It shouldn't be. It's just your thinking. Change your thinking, then very soon you'll see it differently. Absolutely.
Well, most of the time, Africans and the Europeans doesn't match. We tend to believe jackets, suits. These are all European wear.
Look at that. Doesn't match. Can you imagine? You've got these categories in your head. There's this artwork. I think you should see it. It's called Yoruba Man with a Bicycle. You know what I mean? So we are really a hybrid. So the idea that it doesn't match, that's not true. Look at us, we're speaking English here. When you go to school, they speak English to you. That's how you are taught. So the idea that it doesn't match is not true. Look at most people, when they go to work, they wear suits. That's cultural, that's European. So this idea that you've got this strong dividing line between European and African, it doesn't exist. It's a hybrid. As Senghor once said, hybridity is my authenticity. I like that. Are you crazy?
Okay, all right. Let's see where this will drive us. I mean, if you're watching and you are on our social media handle, tell us whether Mr. Mboi's combination,
absolutely,
goes down well with you or not. Yes, just send a message.
For me, it's definitely a no.
How do you feel with this combination? Whether it's okay or not okay?
Yeah.
Yes. If it's okay, just say okay. If it's not okay, say not okay.
Yes.
Yes. So we have a lot to do today. I mean, a lot of things I'm seeing, very interesting headlines, especially the trial, of Korea in the US. All those things we'll discuss on the program.
Yeah.
And of course, we will take a look at the African code. Then from the code, we continue the program. I mean, do you have, okay, all right, it's already here. I was about to ask about the running order,
So you haven't got one?
But it's finally here. I was about to scroll on my phone.
Yeah, so on the electronic version that we have here, it's just like the normal thing.
Yes.
You have the...
Yes, we have it.
Yeah, our African Proverb, the newspaper review. Then we are expecting guests from GCCPC on the opening of the digital market study. And also the last segment on the program, we will have Jollof Care Center, which recently celebrates Women's Day with the Mile 2 inmates. Yeah, I think that's quite interesting.
Exactly. Little snakes.
Yeah.
Little snake never lies on the path.
Yeah.
Little snake never lie on the path. Wow.
True.
That's it.
That's
it. The first question, guy likes about obviously, why? Why does it lie on the path? That can lead you to all sorts of ways.
Danger. You can be killed. You can be exposed.
Or stuff like that. So That's it for me. Or perhaps the more interesting one. Just because it doesn't lie on the path doesn't mean that it's not around.
Yes.
So the idea of deception, being careful of dangers that are not always visible.
Or obvious.
Yes, they are not obvious, that's the thing. But they are lurking somewhere. I get that sense as well, you know, especially with the snake. Normally, what does it symbolize? Cunning,
Deceptive.
dangerous, deceptive,
Yeah.
or in some other areas, wisdom. You know, I need to be wise to the cunning ways of invisible dangers, as it were.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Absolutely. I think that's the interpretation that I want to come in. For the fact that it's not visible doesn't mean it's not there.
Exactly.
For the fact that people are not showing you their true colors or whatever, doesn't mean that they don't have hidden agendas. I mean, all of us, it is in our nature as human beings, you know, to have, we have the other side. All of us do have that. But it's important to actually pay attention to the other side as well, in order not to be wowed, in order not to find yourself in situations where we're like, oh, I never expected that. That is if you are attentive of, you know, things that are happening. Like, all that glitters is not gold. You know, sometimes on these you find very interesting stuff on these little details, but you can only know if you pay attention to some of these small details.
Absolutely, that's one angle, and the other angle we talked about. Really, don't expose your vulnerabilities. I think that's also really part of this.
Oh, you need water.
Oops. Yeah, you need water. That's it. Now we have a good reason why we should be having something here on the table. For instance, water. I hope they wouldn't object. You know, we've been barred from bringing coffee in here. The other day you protested on air, didn't you? But nothing yet.
But at this point, Mr. Mboch, we will take a short break because we need to get Julde some water to drink.
Exactly.
We'll be right back after the break.
Kiusel moy suñu boss. Kiusel moy suñu boss. Kiusel moy suñu boss. Suru. Go. Ebe dawa full network suda tili. Kiusel. Ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata. Kiusel. Most reliable network jumala geta wati. Kiusel. Wo quality man nyon soto jam pona manke Kiusel. Ani be wulo ni farole kono walante be bakono jala fayola network ko se taria. Kiusel suñu boss. Ñu fi njëkka indi 3G ñu dellu taxi 4G plus and now we bring you 5G. 5G. First and only 5G provider. Itella follow adi doron nesa keno. Gambia bela nyon tawa fele Kiusel. Ko fasun tawa buka busi Kiusel. Itella molti milka kukutol nati Gambia. Kiusel meta lori la kilianol yele imanjina amanda wala itella ka quality dila dadi ma itelle silo wala wodol mume be keno ma. Kiusel suñu boss. Kiusel suñu boss. Kiusel suñu boss. Kiusel suñu boss. Connection be bambandi Kiusel suñu boss. Kiusel most innovative Kiusel suñu boss.
Kiumoni arti webi nafitora gol no yawi te non kadi no moƴƴi Kiumoni a wawa wadde piiji ɗin fow kala ko wonɗa wattu kala a wawa hendade mbuudi maɗin e o Kiumoni app kesong a wawa nattinde mbuudi ma ɗum yaltina soda credit soda kiw paba soda ko falaɗa te non kadi wawa hen yoɓude himɓe e ko heewi ida wawi kadi nuldude Kiumoni yoɓa bilji maɗin te non kadi hendoɗa mbuudi ko yaasi nulda himɓe kadi mbuudi fi nafitoragol ɗum no weeɓi yahu ka play store ma ɗum ka app store fi wawa fuɗɗade fi heɓugol hen ko laaɓi noddu Kiumoni customer care e 133 Kiumoni suñu kalpe minen udditi lawol ngol si woɓɓe jokki Kiumoni e muruntananne koteke anilañi mobile app sone yaringo alanna yata ndum e se kuwol be keno ibe dawoda wati o wati e se munafanno ila kodola anin Kiumoni la ñim mobile app kuto e se kodo dundino ye kodo fintinde e se credit ko sanno ye Q power sang yefengol sang ndum fanan ise mol jono anin ku jamalu ise ki umani kino yela bilol jo ndum fanan bantala banko se kodo kiyeno ise kodo fanan kino do kotanye pourque munafanyina a download sign Play Store anin App Store ni laftaka kusere ngosotoje ki umani customer care commandi 133 ki umani suñu kalpe ntolle nga silo walang dole mol noma.
We are back. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. Now let's proceed from that short break. We were talking about something very interesting. Little snake never lies on the path, Mr. Mboj. All of you dañ Jan su bëggee mag fokk mu nobatu. Loolu dañ ko doon wax pour guide xale yi, guide nit ñi. Da nga dégg léegi ñu ne la ne speed boy daw wàññil sa ay tànka because nooy demee nii loolu baaxut pour yow jaan su buggee mag dafa nobatu.
Right.
Dégg nañ ko several times.
Yes.
So interesting.
Yes. For the covenant, really, the main points about this thing, the same lesson, this is what we were talking about, the hidden dangers around, and the vulnerabilities, as it were. So I'm the different angles. So, it's easier said, because what are my vulnerabilities?
Yeah.
How I see myself really matters so much, you know what I mean? So fulfill the danger that you're in. How do I see myself? How do I analyze? Can I identify my vulnerabilities? Am I self-aware enough for my vulnerabilities and how to protect them? And really, what is the reasonable thing to do? Even decisions of what to do. So there's so many things in there, you know. So platitudes, see? So in the end, young ages, who would listen? You know, you would listen, you know, wow, this sounds profound. This is whatever, call it, all this positive gloss. But can I live according to it? Now, that is really where the problem is with these proverbs and all the rest of it. Maybe some might use it, it might help some, but can you live according to these things? I do not know.
You are living according to...
We're just trying to inspire, I suppose,
living
other people.
according to itam dafa des ci sa circumstance as an individual, environment boom la feka, you know. It depends. There are environments that you know you must lie on the path, you know, for you to grow. At some point, people will tell you you have to go in for what you like. I mean, another one will tell you you have to make sure you don't show what you want. You do it in secret. So society sometimes is very confusing, Mr.
You see, there's an old debate really between nitkisa circumstance and individual character. You see, your individual agency matters. So circumstance, well, you find yourself in your circumstance. So you as an individual, one person a character, one person ambition, and the like. So in the end, individual character differences will make the difference in the end, if you like. So yes, circumstance matter now. I mean, individual agency. You must insist on it. You know what I mean? To live by your principle or to live morally or whatever. It is really your decision. I think it is bad faith. Bad faith in the end. So always blame external circumstances as if your individual agents mean it much. I think that is a cop-out. It is a way of dodging responsibility. Yes? Then outside, even though I accept the system, the circumstance, they matter, but again, my individual agents, what I do, that also matters.
Right.
Exactly.
Totally agree.
I mean, lolo tamongfa. Interestingly.
So, when my isolated circumstance, as if we are all completely reduced. We are like puppets.
In a conversation, you must bring circumstances.
Yeah,
Fok mu ñew. Because daf si bokka. Xam naa dafa war a am fu moo duga. Waaye daf si bokka.
On the Benin side, it's like a coin.
Wow, it's two-sided. Yeah. It's two-sided. You know. Exactly. The proverb bita mung ma remind of certain things. Amna yena dream sa soko ame ñu ne la ne so dreame jaan li la mean, so dreame xar li la mean, so dreame nak dafa am its meaning.
Yeah.
You know. So sometimes these are things you hamne at some point society jël nañ ko mu nekk something sort of a belief in the society.
That's what I call folksy wisdom. Yes, of course, traditional society.
Yeah.
They say no. While we are much more than traditional society. I'm going sort of modernist things sort of creeping in.
Yeah.
So I'm got another view. Now behold that view as just folksy wisdom. I'm got dreams. We are knowing more about the workings of the mind and that sort of things and what dreams can mean. So I'm a scientific view coming into the picture. So I'm a sizable chunk within your population of the traditional. You know, they don't quite believe that. You know what I mean? It's just sort of folksy stuff that you can just indulge.
Right. So, is it time for newspaper?
Yeah, so what we do, we go straight to the newspaper review.
Yeah.
And we have some of the stories, Julda.
Yeah, so ex-jungler Michael Sankoria convicted of torture in U.S. So we already have it here. Let me just read two sentences out. Michael Sankoria, a former member of the Gambia's notorious junglers military unit, has been convicted in a U.S. federal court in Denver for his involvement in the torture of individuals accused of participating in a 2006 coup attempt against former President Yahya Jammeh. This marks the first conviction under a U.S. law that permits the prosecution of foreign nationals for acts of torture committed abroad. Korea entered the United States in 2016 as a bodyguard for Jammeh, but overstayed his visa after Jammeh's departure from power. He was arrested in 2019 and charged under the U.S. Torture Act, which allows for the prosecution of non-citizens for torture committed outside the U.S. Interesting.
So it's telling you the long arm of the law.
Law, yeah.
Wherever you are. Be careful when committing atrocities, because now the justice system, it's more of an interlinked, interlinked mechanism.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be very careful of what you do, because you might commit it here and you run to Guinea-Conakry and you can be apprehended and sent to court. You know, so this is what's happening here, Mr. Mboj.
The important legal principle here is universal jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction.
It's a new legal idea, really. I think sort of the first time it was really applied was it around 1998. So it just tells you about its recency.
Oh, it's been here for long.
Absolutely. And I think it was the former Chilean president, Pinochet, when he went to London. A Spanish court judge applied for, to get him prosecuted on crimes committed in Chile.
In Chile.
So it was really the first time, really, this concept of universal jurisdiction has been applied. So it's a new concept, yes. There are certain categories of crime. You can be prosecuted anywhere in the world. Really, they're just so below the belt. They're just so bad that the world really has sort of agreed that no, we wouldn't accept these things. But again, it's very interesting with these ideas.
It is.
Yeah. So with Korea, this is it, caught in the net, just as by law in Germany, Sonko in Switzerland.
Switzerland.
That's exactly it. This is it. So, and thank God for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the prosecutions have begun, really.
They have.
It's just that we haven't got ours off the ground yet, going. But we'll get there.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Not quite the same
as far as
resources.
something has begun, I mean, at some
Absolutely.
point, others will follow as well. I mean, most people will ask questions, when are we getting to the former President Yahya Jammeh? I said, when the time is due. I mean, we'll also talk about it one day.
Right.
Yes,
So
but I suppose we're going to have to get the court first, isn't it?
Yeah.
This ECOWAS back hybrid court that we want. Get it up first and see what would an international warrant. I wonder what pressure. Imagine if we were to have an international warrant, as it were, that we want to prosecute this person, then that could be very interesting. How would that play out diplomatically?
yeah.
Who would be on our side? You know, when you have the powerful ones on your side, then it can make things happen. So there are different permutations, implicit in this. How things will pan out, I do not know.
Yeah. And it's important to note that Korea has been found guilty of all the 6 counts. So still on court matters, it's like we have high-profile cases this morning. Yankuba Toure's death sentence reduced to life imprisonment. And I have on the Keksane's Facebook page, he wrote the story. Let me just read a snippet of that.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Supreme Court today, that is yesterday, delivered its judgment in the appeal case of Yankuba Toure against his death sentence imposed by the High Court and upheld by the Court of Appeal, which convicted him for the murder of Usman Koro Sise in 1995. The Supreme Court maintained the murder conviction against him by both the High Court and the Court of Appeal. However, the Supreme Court set aside the death sentence imposed by the 2 lower courts, substituting it with a sentence to life imprisonment instead of the initial one, which is death by hanging.
No surprises there.
Yeah.
We knew that we wouldn't do that because of the moratorium, wasn't it? They called it, on the death penalty. So we knew that it was going to be commuted to life. Not it wouldn't happen. And yes,
it is quite interesting cases. Okay, do we still have time on the court cases?
We can do one or 2 stories.
Okay.
So what the other papers, for instance.
So again, on the court matter, like I said, this is a court morning. I think it will interest us too, because we interviewed Keksane regarding this court case, that is the FGM case.
Okay.
The Supreme Court ruled that it has jurisdiction to hear the lawsuit challenging the law prohibiting FGM and ordered parties to file their briefs. Counsel Lamin J. Dabo is given 21 days to file, and State Counsel also has 7 days to reply on the point of law. So now, it was argued that maybe the Supreme Court did not have the jurisdiction to hear the case. But now, according to Keksane, the Supreme Court actually has the jurisdiction to hear the FGM case. Let's now see how it pans out.
Yes, that was quite interesting. The very idea that there are certain areas where the Supreme Court wouldn't have any jurisdiction. I'm like, even if those areas exist, they must be very limited.
Right.
You know what I mean? So here, not surprised that the Supreme Court has jurisdiction over these matters. So that's it. So now let's just go on and see how they resolve this issue.
Right. So moving on.
Exactly. So we would be talking to Nene Cham, MC Cham, president of the Gambia Bar Association, on some of these things we discussed here. That's the Yankuba Toure case and Michael Sankoria's case as well. It will be important, as he's the president of the Gambia Bar Association.
Right.
She would be able to throw light on this and what is their stand as the Bar Association of the Gambia as well. Yes. So we will proceed with some stories while we try get hold of her on the phone.
On the phone.
Yeah.
So we still have interesting stories here. On the Standard newspaper, you have government urged to be prudent in privatizing public assets. Okay.
I wonder who's doing the urging.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I don't know. Recently, they've been coming up with performance contracts.
Yeah.
You know, which is a halfway, kind of a halfway point between full public ownership and privatization.
Yeah.
Yes, so some sectors really, so some areas, perhaps it will be better served.
Yeah.
You know, if they're privatized. But I don't know. Whoever is doing the urging and what the argument is there, it's just a headline.
Yeah.
But I think this will go on for a while, especially in the context of state-owned enterprises.
Yeah. So we have Nene MC Cham on the line, president of the Gambia Bar Association, and we'll engage her on the recent Yankuba Touré's life sentence. I mean, case, and of course Michael Courier's conviction in the U.S. Good morning, Mrs. Nene Cham.
Good morning.
Morning. Thank you very much for joining us on QTV this morning. I mean, to discuss a very important, you know, topic. That's the Yankuba Touré sentence to life imprisonment. I mean, we have seen a few years back. I mean, Yankuba Touré was sentenced to death by hanging, and now it is overturned to life imprisonment. We just want to know what is the
legal grounds,
yes, the legal grounds. Can you please take us through?
Hello? Yes. Well, the discretion is with the court. I believe that the... Oh, God.
Yes, we're getting you. Okay.
Lost her.
I don't think the
all right, we'll try connecting her again. She was about to make a very interesting, I mean, a comment there, but I believe we will get hold of her again on the phone. So it might not go down well. Might not go down well with some people, you know. There are many people who believe Yankuba deserves the death penalty, especially those that are victimized. I mean, the families of Koro Sise, it might not go down well with them, but these are legal.
Might, yes, you are correct. Even though listening to was it the sister during the TRRC, for instance, Koro Sise, listening to the sister sounded highly intelligent and sophisticated person. So you just never know what will go down well with them or not. Here, as a civilized society, you want to avoid or make a distinction between revenge, what they say, and justice. And we've got this idealized conception of what justice is. We want to move away from death penalty. We don't want to have the death penalty because when you make a mistake there, you cannot compensate the dead person. The dead person is dead. And we all know that systems make mistakes sometimes. That's really the argument against the death penalty. When it makes a mistake, you really cannot give the life back.
Okay, Mr. Mbod, we are back. She's on the line again. We apologize for that, Nene.
Yes, I apologize.
Yes, it's all right. You were about to make a very important comment on the Yankuba Touré's case.
Yes, I was going to put it on speaker because I don't even have the TV on. I was going to put it on speaker and it was disconnected.
Okay.
He was convicted because the law says if you're convicted of murder, it is death sentence. It is right away. There's no discretion for the court, and that is the law. I know that there was a moratorium on it in this dispensation to try to be more humane with these things and to substitute that for life. I am not aware, and that is very strange. I'm not aware that the court has reduced it to life. But I know that it is a mandatory sentence, which could be applied, could not be applied. There are many people on the death row.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me take you back a little bit. Was the evidence presented against him sufficient to justify that sentence?
No. You have to look at it this way. If the evidence has to be sufficient beyond reasonable doubt, that is the standard of proof. Beyond reasonable doubt, because there's no 100%. So if the judge believes that, beyond a reasonable doubt, the evidence, the person committed the crime that they were alleged to have committed. I was not counsel in the case, and I'm in no position to judge whether the evidence was sufficient or not. But what is important is that the judge who presided over the case believed so. Believed that the evidence was sufficient to convict. And that is the standard of proof we have in criminal cases.
Okay.
I don't know if that's any clearer.
All right, Julie.
So could Toure's legal team appeal the life sentence, and what will be the basis for such an appeal?
I believe they're appealing. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind on what happens in the cases in court. I apologize for that. But I believe they're appealing, and they went to the Supreme Court. I don't know what the verdict is, because I'm sometimes out of what is happening. But the last court of appeal is the Supreme Court of the Gambia.
So
Yes.
Hello, Nene,
Yes.
Momodu Mbuch here.
Hello, Mr. Bush. How are you?
How are things?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. About this moratorium on the death penalty, what is the legal status of a moratorium? Does it have any, or is it simply the president's discretion?
No, it's well overdue. If you look at the 1997 Constitution, it says that after 10 years, this should have been reviewed. It wasn't, and I'm not aware that it has actually been reviewed. And so that is a huge lapse there, and that should have been done. The 1977 imposed the death penalty and said, after 10 years, review it and see the desirability, if it should continue or not. And that has not, and some of us have been talking about this in the past. It has not been done as far as I'm concerned. There's no, I don't believe there's a I don't believe there's a discretion. I believe this is the rule of law country, and we abide by the laws, and unless and until they are amended or repealed or whatever, they remain the law. That is my view. And that is why we're still using the 1997 Constitution, because we don't have any other one to replace it.
So now,
I mean, yeah, people take for granted the desired change, and they start using NIA, for example. They're not using anymore. But that is what is in the Constitution, and that is the proper name for the agency, unless and until it is we have a new Constitution to overhaul and completely do away with the recommendation is there that the death penalty be substituted for life, but I am not aware that has been done.
Okay, all right, Julia.
So what is the fate of others who were accused accomplices of the murder of Koro Cisse?
The fate? I don't think anybody else is charged yet, but I know that the government, the state, is in the process of setting up the mechanisms for bringing them to account. Bringing to account all those recommended for prosecutions by the TRRC for having committed crimes, serious crimes. So they would be, if they, I think they're in the process of establishing the office of the special prosecutor, who will be in charge of prosecuting all the crimes that have been recommended. And it is the discretion of that prosecutor to see what evidence they have. They would be investigating further, in addition to what the TRRC investigations revealed, because they're not. That was a commission of inquiry. So now that we have to go to court, the office of a special prosecutor, who has to be recruited, and a lot of other people to assist him or her in prosecuting, will look at each and every single person who has been adversely mentioned and recommended for prosecution, and try to gather evidence you know, to make sure that they take sufficient evidence to court. So only those, you know, who against whom there's sufficient evidence will be prosecuted. So that should be clear. Nobody's free yet, and in Gambia here we're a bit slow, I have to say, very slow. And people are very impatient for the prosecutions. This is the third prosecution from abroad. That shows that our system is quite slow. But I know that they're moving, albeit very slow. The state is moving, and we want to encourage them to move, to hurry, because many victims are dying, and a lot of, you know, we don't want to lose all the evidence. Yeah.
Yeah. In that case, do you have faith in the justice system, and that you believe that justice was served in this case? In which case? The Yankuba Toure's case.
Oh no, I don't have. It's not for me to say whether it was served or not. I believe in the, you know, rule of law. I believe whatever the court decides, I believe that is the right, you know, that's the most we can get, because the court hears both sides. And if any person is not satisfied, they have the right to appeal and appeal and appeal and appeal until you get to the Supreme Court. And whatever the Supreme Court decides, then that will hold. There's no 100% proof in any system of law, but the standard is very high, beyond reasonable doubt. If the High Court made a mistake, the Court of Appeal should have picked it up. But as far as I'm aware, the Court of Appeal did not. It affirmed. So I'm sorry, the past few days I don't know what has happened in the Supreme Court. I understood the appeal was there. But it's not for me to say whether they made a mistake or not. I did not preside over the case.
Right.
I was involved in an amicus as to whether or not immunity could be granted. In filing an amicus, I filed an amicus together with my colleagues, just to determine that point, whether the case should go on or whether there should be constitutional immunity. But as far as the substantive case is concerned, I'm not aware.
All right.
What the evidence was.
Quickly, we've also seen the conviction of Michael Sankoria in the U.S. What can the Bar Association tell us about this?
Well, yes, I received the news yesterday evening, like everybody else, of the conviction for, I believe, 7 counts.
6 counts.
6 counts. Six or 7. I think it's 6 counts of torture and 1 count of conspiracy. That's what somebody sent me an article from the U.S. And it is under, I think, the federal law. They have a law, you know, by which non-citizens can be charged if they're alleged to have committed torture in any other country, or even in the U.S. they could be tried. So he was tried under this law, and convicted for all. I don't think he denied involvement in torture. I think he denied actual torture, but he did express that he was part of the junglers, and there was some aspect of concession as far as I understand. And evidence was heard from Gambian alleged victims, and the court believed them. So for me, I mean, it's a victory for justice and accountability, and certainly for the victims who alleged that he tortured them. So whatever the law says, and of course, I'm sure he has a right to appeal.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much for talking to us on QTV this morning.
Thank you. Have a good day, you.
Yeah, so that's Nene MC Cham there, President of the Gambia Bar Association, giving us an update as far as the Bar Association is concerned. You know, I can, from her, you know, interaction there, I can see how she is very careful, I mean, just to finalize on certain points. I mean, especially whether they are granted fair trials or not, she cannot justify that. I mean, she needs to follow the rule of law, according to her.
And of course, that's what you should expect from her, you know, as a trained lawyer herself, and the association that now she heads. Obviously, it just depends on the processes and what they churn out. You know what I mean? If you have an issue with it, there is an appeal system. You know what I mean? So one has to be professional in that way.
Yeah.
And absolutely. So this is it. And I think she explained everything very clearly.
Right.
Really.
Exactly. So, Mr. Momodou Mbodj, thank you very much for reviewing the stories with us. And, you know, we are hopeful. Tomorrow it's off day for you. On this morning.
Thursday? Well, you just never know with
You
this
never
morning.
know.
Really.
All right. No problem. We hope to see you tomorrow too. We'll take a short break. After the break, then the program is going to continue. We'll be right back.
Q-Money Delsina ak seen mobile app bu bees bii óor na gaaw na te it mun nga koo jëfandikoo pour def ci loo bëgga foo mun di ne waxtu bu ne mun ngaa jot sa xaalis ak Q-Money mobile app bu bees bii mun ngaa dugal xaalis génnee xaalis jënd si crédit jënd si Q Power jënd loo bëgga ak yu bëri mun nga ci yónnee Q-Money fay sa bill si jot xaalis bitim réew yónnee xaalis ci noo ko bëggee looy def yomba na downloadal app bi léegi ca Play Store bu dul loolu App Store pour nga door pour am si lu leer koolal Q-Money customer care si 133 Q-Money suñu kalpe ñoo xaali yoon wi ñeneen toppa.
Q-Money is back again with its easy-to-use, secure and convenient mobile app that allows you to carry out all your transactions. No matter where you are or what time it is, you can always access your funds. With the new Q-Money app, you can cash in and out, buy credit, buy Q Power, shop, make payments, and so much more. You can also send Q-Money, pay bills, receive international remittances, and transfer cash to others. Just download the app from your Play Store or App Store and get started. For more information, call customer care on 133. Q-Money, Sinu Kalpe. We innovate, others follow.
Qcell mooy suñu boss. Qcell mooy suñu boss. Qcell mooy suñu boss. Soro go ebe dawa full network suta tili Qcell ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata Qcell most reliable network dumala keta wati Qcell wo quality man nyon soto jam ona manke Qcell hani be wuloni farole kono walante be bakono jala fayola network ko se taria Qcell suñu boss ñu fi njëkka indi 3G ñu delu taxi 4G plus and now we bring you 5G 5G first and only 5G provider suñu boss itela follow adi doron nesa keno Gambia bela nyon tawa fele Qcell ko fasunta buka busi Qcell itela molti milka kukutol nati Gambia Qcell meta lori la kilianol yele imanyina amanda wala itela ka quality dila dadi ma itele silo wala wodol mume be keno ma Qcell suñu boss Qcell suñu boss Qcell suñu boss Qcell suñu boss connection be bambandi Qcell suñu boss Qcell most innovative Qcell suñu boss.
You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde and I'm with Julde Njai. Now let's move to the third segment of this program, and we'll be talking to Aissatou Jallow, Chief Executive Officer, Jollof Care Center. Recently we've seen they've celebrated International Women's Day at the Mile 2 female wing.
Yeah.
It's important, very interesting. That's human interest. I mean, so we deem it necessary to invite the Chief Executive Officer here, Aissatou, so that we can discuss Jollof Care Center, your mandate. And of course, we also discuss your activity at the Mile 2 Center prison. You are welcome on this program, Aissatou.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim and Julie, for having me here.
Yeah. So,
thank you and good morning.
how are you doing? That's a nice outfit.
Oh, thank you very much.
Is it wax or
yeah,
something?
it's wax.
Wow, that's beautiful. It looks nice. In Africa, we have beautiful things.
Yeah, thank you. I have a very special sister, Fatima. Tima.
Oh.
She does very nice stuff.
Oh, Tima, big up to you. Make sure you do this stuff for I and Julia too.
Yeah.
All right. So, briefly, tell us about Jollof Care Center.
Jollof Care Center was established on the 28th of December, 2023, and aim is to rehabilitate and reintegrate ex-prisoners by helping them acquire skills. not only skills, some are now into like they're doing some other courses at the college. And we also offer mental health support to those in prison. We started with the female, even though some would say she's like Jollof Care, they're gender biased, but we just started with the female because of the number is like fewer. Then hopefully by May, we'll start with the men, the male inmates as well. So basically, that is the mandate of Jollof Care Center. And we also offer training like to the female inmates. We started with them. It's all part of the mental health support. At least when they're doing something, they would be they would not be too depressed or stressed. So we offer them training, try and die beading, which we did in November, and beading. Well, it was of course supported by the Ministry of Trade. The She Trades Hub before they beat me. Gambia under the Ministry of Trade, they sponsored that the training, and they also gave us a stall during the trade fair that we are selling their products, like the tie and dye batik products and also the beading products. They use the beads to make like tissue boxes, key holders, and this bands and etc. So we were selling it for them, showing people what they can do. They also do this like knitted products, like these crochets. Those ones are, they are not, we didn't train them on them. They already have the talent for that, yes. So we were selling those items for them, and then everything, like we provided the capital 100%, and the proceeds, everything 100% goes back to them. Because most of them take care of their families and even themselves while in prison. So that is the whole idea of having the trade fair. And every year we'll be participating, courtesy of Ministry of Trade. Thank you. Yeah.
So the Jollof Care Center, recently you celebrated International Women's Day, specifically for female inmates at the Malto prisons. What really inspired you to celebrate it with them?
Because I think mostly, almost in every institution, on the 8th of March, almost every institution celebrate or commemorate women, except for the prison. Well, the female officers at the Mile too, they do their bits for them, but it's not enough. So we say, why not we, myself and the executive, we sat and we're like, why not we do something for them? And you know, they did the training for the tie and dye batik and beading. So we like, because we're supposed to give them certificates, so we wanted to wait during that period to give them certificate, at least for them to show, to know that we, like, they're appreciated. So that's why we had like those ashovis and all, and then, well, they really appreciated it. And well, we organized it just for them not to forget, just for them to know that we haven't forgotten them. And we invited some other, guests who, mingled with them. And well, it was a nice day. So it was just for them to feel a little bit, just to have a little bit on their, and also on their mental health. As well.
Aside from the Ashobi, what were some of the activities that you've done during the celebration?
Yeah, we invited Bright Star Entertainment, very, very supportive group.
Vibrant young people.
Yes, we just informed them, and they're like, no problem, we'll come and perform. And they do it, and they did it like free of charge. And the other, we also had, at the end of the whole event, we also invited Hussein Dada. Hussein is a very, very good brother. Not only this event, we also organized the New Year's, it was a New Year's self-reflection day on the 1st of January. We cooked there together with the inmates. They cooked, and we all cooked together. And then, well, Hussein came and performed free of charge as well. And this time around, when I called, it was like, no problem, I'll just come and perform, even though he had some other events, so he just came. So those are and apart from like the certificates as well, we kind of like gave certificates to them. So it was just a short program.
Yeah,
But
very impactful.
yeah.
And all these things happen at the Mile 2
Yes,
ground.
at the Mile 2. You know, Jollof Care Center, we signed an MOU with the prisons management, prison services. And well, the purpose of the MOU is to have access, and also as soon as the inmates are released, they are to give us the list. Then we'll call them, contact them for us to tell them what they want to do, whether they want to go and learn a skill, or they want to go and attend whatever course they want to do.
Okay.
And currently we have about 15 ex-inmates and some few returnees who are enrolled. They are like doing tailoring, some are doing welding, auto mechanic, etc. And yeah, and in fact, we recently refurbished the library at the Mile 2.
Oh, they have a library?
Yes, they do. They have a library at the Mile 2 there. But it's in the male wing. There was nothing for at the female wing. So, well, courtesy of National Food Security Processing Marketing Corporation, they funded the refurbishment of the library. So we got new shelves. Like the books were really old, damp, and the ceiling was done. The painting was really not, you know. So we got we painted the place and fixed the ceiling, and also have new shelves, which was done by the way, the prison's technical department and the inmates. The male inmates, they kind of like form a team.
Okay.
So they fixed those things, and we got support books from National Library Services. And not only that, they even gave us some staff to come and help arrange the books, and they even offered to train 2 officers on library management. Yes, because, and also Timbuktu, they gave us books, about like 6 or 7 boxes of books. So we, and Aliu Badara saw a very good brother, even he saw me posted on Facebook that this is the next project, like we painting the library and all. So he just reached out and say, I said to him, look, I have a lot of books at Kafuta, you can go and collect it. I was like, why not? Because we're looking for books. Yeah. Because right now, you know, the inmates are now doing the private WAS. They are also doing it, so at least we got them some academic books there. At least it can help them. And the female, we have just one shelf for them with books that at least they will be able to read, you know. Okay,
interesting. So let's talk about the response from inmates. How did they, welcome this idea?
Yes, before they were very, very hesitant because, well, there's like, they thought we just like other people, we just go there once, twice, and we will not go back again. So sometimes when we go there, at the beginning, not all of them will come out. But now, alhamdulillah, and we've seen some improvement. Like when we come, the moment they know I said to Isa, even if I don't come, some officers will call me and say, they're asking, are you not coming? Are you not coming? Something like. So we have to, and when we are there now, they all come out. And before, some were not participating, but now they are all open. And sometimes when we go there, people, they will just be crying. But now, alhamdulillah, they are not crying. When we go there, it's all fun, you know. And if they have birthdays, we just buy cakes. We just go there, celebrate it with them.
Nice.
Yes. So at least now they see us like as a genuine group.
How often does the Jollof Care Center engage them?
We go there every week.
Okay.
We go there every week. Every Thursday we go there. We have a chat with them. And then talk about them, like do some mental health activities, you know. And then, yeah. But we haven't started with the men, by the way. We're starting, as I've said earlier, with sometime in May. Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of the sustainability mechanism, you did mention that some of these women were trained on tie and dye and other things. And when I went to the trade fair, I was impressed to know that actually they made these stuff. So do you have a long-term sustainability mechanism for them, not just wait until when we have trade fairs and then you can showcase the goods that they're making?
Yes, because because we training them for some of them, like when we have orders, we'll tell them. Like even after the trade fair, we have some orders, tissue boxes, Gambian flag tissue boxes, key holders. So we just bought the beads and then gave it to them. So even right now, the next trade fair, Ministry of Trade is giving us a stall. So even that one, we want to we want them to do some bidding. But we have like 2 inmates, female. They are released, I think 2-3 weeks ago. They are very, very good. I think they are one of the best students, I can say, because like they mastered everything. So when they came out, one of them called me and said, oh, I'm in my village, and I've showed them the tissue boxes and the bags, the bead bags, and they are interested. So it's kind of like, so in fact, I'm supposed to get her the tissue, the beads, for her to start the production and be selling it. It's kind of like a way of earning something for herself while she's out, until we enroll her in one of the TVET schools. Yeah, so.
So my concern is, okay, these people are talented, they have the stuff and they have what it takes. And you did mention that most of them are like breadwinners of their families. So aside from trade fairs, do you have any initiative, sustainability mechanism, whereas maybe you can open a shop for them to be doing this every day? It's like a normal job routine where they supply you the products and then you sell it for them.
Yeah, that's right. We're working on that. It's one of our activities. Maybe not now, maybe in the next, because funds are kind of like really hard to get by these days. So the intention is to have kind of like a showroom at the management complex there, the prison management complex. So once we have the showroom there, like even there, like not only the beading and the tie and dye, even tailoring, whatever they make, we put it there. And we also intend to engage the Gambia Tourism Board for at least them to help with the hotel, so that at least in every hotel they will have a corner for us that their items would be there. Because we noticed that them being engaged in this thing really helped them with their mental health state. Because they're like, because there was a time after the trade fair, we were not doing anything. It was just like go there, talk to them, but they're like, I thought when we're here, no problem. But when we go back, we have nothing to do. So if you can bring anything for us to do, at least it will keep our mind off, some stuff. So that is something that we intend to do. We're working on that, trying to get the funds and, set up that showroom that, anytime they will just keep producing, and we'll put it then also in the hotels and various, shops.
Exactly. I mean, Mile 2, it's a correctional facility.
Yeah.
And there must be challenges, I mean, in organizing such kind of events in a correctional facility like the Mile 2 Central Prison. Yeah. Tell us about the challenges. How did you access the Mile 2 Central Prison? Now you visit every week. How did you achieve that?
As I've said, the MOU we signed with the prisons, it gave us the access to prisons. Not only Mile 2, we also do Joshua, and we haven't gone to Janjambure yet because of the time. Well, they are all part of are part of what we're doing. So what we do once, as I've said, when we're going there, we inform the DG, who in turn would inform the prison committee. We just don't go there. Even every Thursday, I have to inform that we're coming. So when we come, I even have to tell them the purpose of what we're going to do, whether it's a mental health thing or whether I just want to meet them to discuss something, maybe an upcoming activity. So we have to go through, and then, the security is channel is always there. And then we don't go to, by the way, we don't go in their cells. They come out and meet us. Like there is a place there that that they give us, which whenever they're coming, the security is always there. So they always come out and meet us there. Except for the men, when we are doing the library, we needed to access because it's right in the wing. So yeah, they give. So we inform them early, and then they work on things. And
so how soon are we doing the men too?
Please don't say gender. Don't say gender.
Because the men we are also going through some mental health issues in the prison.
And
so we need something like that.
No, we will. As I've said, we'll start around May, because for the men, we have some, because for
the same prison or a different one?
Same prison, Mile 2. For the females, we are only in Mile 2. But for the men, we cannot say, okay, we're doing Mile 2 only and leave Joshua. We have to do all of them.
Together.
So in fact, for them, I think what our upcoming activities, they're the ones who are going to benefit more than even the women. For the men, we intend, like the first thing is their church. We really need, if you can have support for that. Their church is really like the roof really, if it rains again, when it rains again this year, I am afraid they will not be able to worship there. So that is something that really need to be done. And the boys also, the inmates, they requested for football. Well, at the mile 2, there is no
space. Is there space?
There is space, but there is a kind of like a volleyball court.
Yeah.
That's where they play football, and then it's not even level. Like you have some broken sides here and there. You know, it's not even safe. Yes. So we intend to like just have like these turfs down there, at least for them to just play football. But at Joshua, we intend to have an enclosed football field because there's nothing for them to do there. So at least to have an enclosed football field for those at Joshua. Plus, there was a poultry that they were running, both the officers and also the inmates. So we intend to revive it with, of course, funds coming, hopefully.
That's my worry. Like with all these projects in mind, where are you getting the funds from?
Well,
is it already in place or?
Not yet, but then, you know, it's never, we can just put it down and, well, we'll have some good people. Maybe, who knows, maybe you may even decide to support one activity, exactly.
Thank you.
And we also had some support from Social Security, Pura, GRA, so alhamdulillah.
Thank you, we've exhausted our time.
Thank you.
Probably next Thursday, if you're visiting, you can contact me. We go together. I would definitely love to go and visit.
No problem. We'll work that out.
And please do the mail wing next time.
We will.
Yeah, so viewers, we'll take a short break. After the break, then the last segment. We'll be back.
The art of juggling is a true spectacle of agility, coordination, and speed. A symbol of progression, precision, and mastery. .5G speed is like having the juggler in your pocket. With lightning-fast download and upload speeds, you'll easily be able to juggle even the busiest workdays. Whether you're a busy entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone who wants to stay connected. Juggle your tasks with ease with QCell 5G speed. The future is here. It's fast, reliable, and efficient. First brought to you by QCell. We innovate, others follow.
QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. Soro. Go, ebe dawa full network suuta tili QCell. Ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata QCell. Most reliable network jumala geta wati QCell. Wo quality man nyon soto jam ona manke QCell. Hani be wulo ni farole kono walante be bako na jala fayola network o se taria QCell suñu boss. Yo finjeka indi 3G ñu delu taxi 4G plus and now we bring you 5G. 5G. First and only 5G provider. Itella follow adi doron nesa keno. Gambia bela nyon tawo fele QCell. Ko fasunta buka busi QCell. Itella molti milka kukutol nati Gambia. QCell meda lori la kiliano yele imanyina amanda wala itella ka quality dila dadi ma itelle silo wala wodol mume be keno ma. QCell sunyu boss. QCell sunyu boss. QCell sunyu boss. QCell sunyu boss. Connection be bambandi QCell sunyu boss. QCell most innovative QCell sunyu boss.
QMoney is back again with its easy-to-use, secure and convenient mobile app that allows you to carry out all your transactions. No matter where you are or what time it is, you can always access your funds. With the new QMoney app, you can cash in and out, buy credit, buy QPower, shop, make payments, and so much more. You can also send QMoney, pay bills, receive international remittances, and transfer cash to others. Just download the app from your Play Store or App Store and get started. For more information, call customer care on 133. Q Money, Sinu Kalpe. We innovate, others follow.
Money arti webi na fitora gol no yawi te non kadi no moƴƴi Money a wawa wadde piiji ɗin fow kala ko wonɗa wattu kala a wawa hendade mbuudi maɗin e o Money app ke song a wawa nattinde mbuudi ma ɗum yaltina soda credit soda paba soda ko falaɗa te non kadi wawa hen yoɓude himɓe e ko heewi ida wawi kadi nuldude Money yoɓa bilji maɗin te non kadi hendoɗa mbuudi ko yaasi nulda himɓe kadi mbuudi fi nafitoragol ɗum no weeɓi yahu ka Play Store ma ɗum ka App Store fi wawa fuɗɗade fi heɓugol hen ko laaɓi noddu Money customer care e 133 Money suñu kalpe minen udditi laawol ngol si woɓɓe jokki Money.
This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde and I'm here with Julden Jai. Now let's move to the last segment of this program and GCCPC opening of the digital market study. I mean, we'll be talking about the digital market study and we have Mr. Babukar M. Sise, Director of Competition, and of course Alaji Sambo, Director of Consumer Protection. Gentlemen, welcome to QTV This Morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
So we would like to know what is this digital study
Market
all about?
Study, yeah.
We just want to understand that first before we delve into the conversation.
The digital market study looks into as the name goes, the digital market. The Gambia, as part of ECOWAS, ECOWAS Regional Competition Authority initiated a study looking at digital market in all ECOWAS countries. But the approach they've used is for individual member states to conduct this study in their country and tease out issues that affect the digital market in individual countries, but also cross-border issues that affect digital trade. Digital market, as we always say, we have the traditional market, which is the Serekunda market, Banjul, and others. The same way we have the physical market is same way we also have the digital market. Whatsoever is transacted on the physical space is also transacted on the digital, just as the way we have the physical TV, we also have online digital TV that you can. So given that the market is coming up, and yes, the traditional market is pretty much well regulated, is well understood. ECOWAS with member states deemed it necessary that it's also important to understand the digital space where we have digital transactions. So I mean, just ask what it is. Today, if I say I'm conducting a market study, the first thing you'll ask me what will be in which area. The digital space is big, just as the physical space is. So that's why we picked the digital financing and e-commerce specifically. So the study specifically is on e-commerce and digital financing looking into digital banking and also digital financial platforms.
So what are the main issues that the study finds or reveals as far as the digital market is concerned in the Gambia?
So what, firstly, what we've done that brought out these issues was to conduct a survey. We did a survey where consumers were interviewed, businesses also with sector regulators, which is business, which is government, to look into the issues within the market. And two issues came out in two groups. That is competition issues and then consumer protection issues. The competition issues, which I will delve in, and he will delve into the consumer protection issues. Coming from businesses and also coming out of the regulations that we've reviewed. Because anytime we conduct a market study, we also review the regulations to see whether the regulatory framework itself is pro-competition. So when we did, some of the issues it brought out was issues of lack of competition neutralities, because we found out that some of the sector regulators are also managing players within the market, which we indicate as issue, of course, because you are regulator also playing. So we raise that as an issue, that as a regulator, you stay as a regulator, or even if you want to build an infrastructure, I mean, that part needs to be well taken care of. We also have issues of vertical integration. The issue of vertical integration is we found out in this market, most especially in digital finance, you will find out that some of the GSM companies also owns digital financial platforms. That's what you call integration. And because it's digital, you need, I mean, their GSM service to be able to run the digital, how do I call it, financial platform.
Absolutely.
So which means you are playing on both sides of the market. Those were issues. We also had issues of refusal to deal. You have a service, orders needed. What we found out was some of the GSM companies, we found out that as concerns raised, because we will later go to the next step to verify most of these things, where one, we have what we call USSD. The USSD digital financial platform to, you can receive your money via text and orders without going online. So some of the concerns we've received were some of the GSM companies, we will not mention names, will refuse them the USSD because they are playing with them in the same market, so that they can have, monopoly over that offline transactions. We also had issues again, orders, just like the USSD, which is, the short code. Some of the digital financial platforms. And here again, just to name a few, when I say digital financial platforms, I mean the Wave, the NAFA, the APS, and all, the Q Money, the Afri Money. These are the digital financial platforms. Concerns raised also as refusal to do, as refusal to provide a service, even though it's essential, are these short code numbers. Even though, it's purer that approved short codes, like if you want, customer care for AfriCell, you have 111. So some of the digital financial platforms raise concerns that even though PUIRA has approved, they've applied for this short code, but they could not have from some of the GSM service providers. And the risk that provides for them is, it forced them to use an ordinary number like you and I will use for AfriCell, Community, or Gamcell. They said this thing has now subjected to, their consumers to a lot of risk. Because if it is a short code, you will know that this short code is for digital platform X. Like if, let's say, 121 is Wave or 222 is, Afri Money, I will know that if I'm an Afri Money, consumer, if I receive any call from anybody that's not true, I will know that you are not Afri Money.
And avoid mentioning our competitor on our television.
And if it is 333, you will say, okay, it's Q Money. If it is maybe 120, is NAFA. So they also highlighted that because they cannot have this sort of code, it's also object. They are consumers to a lot of risk. We also had
the number of scams we have.
Yes, in fact, they attributed such. Some to those. We also had issues of lack of multi-homing. Yes, you will explain.
Those are big terms. You don't know them.
Multi-homing is to be able to access one particular service from different providers.
Okay.
Like for instance, today, if I need a QCell airtime, or let's call it credit, I can get it from any of them. I can use my Q Money, I can use my Wave, I can use NAFA to get it. So this multi-homing. When it comes to AfriCell credit, same thing, I can get it from. But when it comes to data, we found out that data is only centralized with the wallet associated with certain GSM companies.
Okay, interesting. We have let's engage Mr.
Wow,
Sam.
this is a lot coming out.
Director of Consumer Protection.
Yes.
Your area. Yes. What is your own stand in this area?
Yes, thank you very much, Babukar. As consumer protection in the Gambia, you would know, based on the findings that we did, we find out so many consumer protection issues. Yeah. And one of which is disclosure issue that we found out in the study, because you would understand that consumers are expected to be given adequate disclosure on whatever they want to purchase. but you go on the platform and they want to do their purchases, they wouldn't get adequate disclosure. So these are one of the things that we found out in this study.
As in disclosure, as in what?
As in the terms of, for example, you want to purchase a product.
The terms and conditions,
they wouldn't tell you,
applying.
You wouldn't be given adequate pricing.
Oh.
Okay, if there is any interest that should be charged in the process that you are transacting, it is not adequately provided to you.
Oh, okay.
So these are some of the things that we found out. Also, we found out there are no security issues. For example, consumers would want to give their data, but they wouldn't be sure whether their data would be adequately kept for them or not. And in the process, we discovered that perhaps it is lack of the data protection laws that we don't have in the Gambia could be one of the contributing factor. But as consumers too, we believe that they have rights to privacy. So whenever they opt to give out their data in any transaction, it becomes the responsibility of platform providers to keep their data secured. And one of the things also that we found out were a lack of trust that consumers are faced with, because consumers that don't trust some of these platforms, sometimes they want to put in their funds, but how sure are they that they will get it anytime they need the funds? Pricing issues were also found. Most consumers raise that prices that have been charged by service providers are usually very high. So as Babakar said, being a competition authority, that is where we are encouraging competition, because this is the only way you can contest and so at least consumers get the best price of whatever they want to have. Poor customer services was also something that we also uncovered in the study. Most businesses believe that they aren't giving adequate customer services, because we all know what it means by providing adequate customer service. It ensures there is at least confidence and keeps your brand loyalty. So basically, these are some of the main issues that we found out, and then we provided recommendations on how at least we can come about in trying to mitigate some of these consumer protection issues that consumers are faced with. And a major of these on data security and privacy, we are promoting to ensure at least the data protection bill that is currently in the process to be enacted. And we are also advocating for awareness creation to be conducted, at least for consumers to be aware, because if consumers are aware of their rights under the Act, when they go to pursue whatever services, they can always call in for disclosure to be given to them. And they can always advocate also to ensure wherever they are opting out to give their data, that security is also ensured. So among other
recommendations.
Yes, recommendations that we also did. Basically, in short, these are the main consumer protection issues that we found, because we know in practice the level of literacy in the Gambia is very low, and this is a new system. Because looking at our market, as you said, it's a traditional market, and exposing consumers to a digital system would require consumers at least to be informed, so that they will trust the system. And at least they are given adequate assurance before they opt to it. So these are some of the issues. Yes.
Yeah. So, Mr. Sise, how does your office intend to address some of these issues that came out? And I understand some of the issues that came out are not within your mandate or purview as a commission. How do you intend to collaborate with other institutions to actually address some of these issues?
Good question. In fact, one of the main issues that even came out, the Gambia, as far as we know, was the only country within the study, because actually it's an ECOWAS study, that reported a cross-border issue. And the cross-border issue concern we had was restriction on cross-border remittance. For instance, we have UEMA, which is the French-speaking and Portuguese and English-speaking. Our study found out that when it comes to money transfer through peer-to-peer, maybe through digital wallets, within the UEMA countries, it's very possible, in both ways. But when it comes to non-UEMA countries, it's not possible. That is why if you come to the Gambia, you can send from the Gambia through your digital wallet, Wave or others, to Senegal. But the other way around is not possible.
It's not possible.
It's not possible. So we flag this as a concern to ECOWAS because it has implications on our business. It means because whether we like it or not, the country is going to move, cashless. And these digital wallets are the ones that are going to be. So those regulations have to be. Time will come, you will pay your fares using your digital wallet. This wallet you have the ports you have are going to disappear. So government...
It has already started with the ferry services.
With the ferry services.
Yeah.
So very soon you will have taxis also charging. Very soon you will also have even those women at the market asking for wave. That is why one of the main issues we had was that, which means Gambians can sit here, buy products from Senegal, but Gambians produce could not be bought from Senegal unless they come. So which put Gambia as a disadvantage. Even our balance of payment, because we will import more than we export to Senegal. This we are liaising with ECOWAS for it to be resolved. The other one is we have lack of interoperability. Lack of interoperability is if I have my Q money, I cannot send to AfriMoney. I cannot send to Wave. I can only transact with somebody with Q money to Q money. Now, with this study now, we're pushing for that to stop. If I am buying this water from Julde, and Julde has AfriMoney and I have Q money, I don't have to use her. I can just send to her AfriMoney using my Q money. So the wallets should be able to speak to each other.
Even the banks, to some extent, they had that, some of the banks, but now I understand most of the banks, they remove that gum switch where you can transfer from bank A to bank B.
In fact,
that is not possible now.
In fact, it's one of the things the Commission is pushing for harder, so that because with your ATM card, you can use any ATM machine, whether you're a bank or not. So what are we doing to implement this? What we do in the Commission in the past 3 years is, after we conduct a market study, we move to another stage, which is the implementation committee. When we conduct these studies, we don't conduct the study alone. We partner with sister agencies and private sectors. Like when we are conducting this study, we did it with Minister of Digital Economy, we did it with Central Bank, we did it with Minister of Trade, we did it with Pura, we also did it with GamSwitch and Internet Association of the Gambia. So this institution that took part in this, now that the study is done, we have now established an implementation committee. The committee comprising of all these institutions now are now going to oversee the implementation of the recommendation of the study. That is why when it comes to issue of interoperability, you will have Central Bank with us working together, Pura. So this is how we're going to implement to make sure that all these recommendations, because it must affect one of these institutions. And those institutions will now be in this committee now, periodically be giving update on how far their institutions have gone in resolving this.
Thank you, Mr. Sise and Mr. Sambu. We've exhausted all the time. And it's a good one. Let us try and see how to implement it. I mean, when we implement it, life will become very easy. Most of these countries, if you travel now, you don't carry physical cash. All that you do is digital. Everything is digital. So I think you are on the right path. So just try, help us implement it.
Thank you, and then I will be very willing to see the progress we've made anytime you need us. I mean, we'll be available.
Thank you.
Just as
we
we said, to
definitely
share
engage
with
you
the
again.
public.
Yeah, we will engage you
so
again.
this is all we have, Julde.
Yeah, until
and
we come
tomorrow.
your way tomorrow, inshallah.
Yes, until another segment tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.